Alright, guys, welcome back. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to Game and Compute. Here on this podcast, we talk about finance and side hustles and the economy. We talk a bit about jobs and careers. And today I want to talk about the motivation that comes from, excuse me, both the motivation and the educational experience that comes from using projects to kind of inform myself as well as provide valuable content either for just entertainment purposes on the podcast, but overall just to open people's minds to ideas of methods that they can use to try to problem solve and brainstorm about where they want to be, how they want to get from point A to point B or point A to point Z, just mostly kind of how my mind works around that. So when it comes to projects overall, I tend to find projects to be a form of creativity that keeps me motivated more than most things. Now, what I've noticed in my life, when my motivation is low, when I'm, feeling kind of like down for long periods of time, like if I'm, usually that takes me away from sleeping right, eating right, exercising, like the basics, the very, very basics, right? Just to feel good every day, you need to be sleeping right, eating right, and getting proper exercise. There's only so long a person can go without that and still feel, energetic, motivated, balanced, without their energy dipping all over and their emotions kind of swinging all over the place. Unless you're like stopping every like 30 minutes to every hour or something to do like meditations, meditations or something like that, then you're likely, gonna struggle eventually, just generally just with blood sugar level issues and, just, the getting the hiatus and, like, getting that, feeling like you want to go to sleep at 3:00 during work, or feeling like when you wake up you've got the brain fog and you just can't really function at work, and then leading you to have more caffeine and things. And if you're like me, when the caffeine crash sets in, you're all like irritated, and you might take that home, or on your way home it's like that at least for me, when I used to work not remotely, when I would leave from work, if I was feeling that irritation from the caffeine wearing down, then basically I would be really like how do I say this? So when the caffeine would wear off, basically what would happen is I would feel irritable, and it would basically make me not want to go to the gym, because I'd be like, I really just don't want to be around people, right? Or make me not want to make healthy food choices at home, and be like, I don't really want to cook a healthy meal, and instead, my body responding to the stress tells me I want McDonald's, I want Jack in the Box. I don't want even something slightly healthier like Subway or Chipotle, because I don't want to go into the store to order, so just something as simple as that, as being irritated from like the caffeine crash would lead me to kind of make those poor decisions, would lead me to skip my workouts. It's all a cycle, it's all combined, it's all a cycle, and the cycle can be broken at any time, right? One way is to just force something. So force yourself to eat healthy even if you don't feel like it. That's one thing you could do. And then things will kind of fall into place around that. When you start making the efforts to eat healthy, you kind of start, you can use that as a project in itself and, say, why don't I try more days than not this week, to eat healthy consecutively, even if it's one meal per day that's healthier, or, every other day you're eating completely like organic foods or something, whatever it is that you challenge yourself to do. If you do it for like a couple days or a week, usually it gets the momentum going. Same thing with the gym. Say you're not even going to eat healthy, you're not going to sleep right, you're still going to do the same caffeine thing, but you force yourself to get some exercise after work or before work or whatever, after school, before school, whatever that looks like for you. Once you start forcing yourself into that, you start kind of, okay, well, I exercise, so I might actually eat healthier, but it might still improve your sleep. It might still improve your, the way you talk to yourself, just because you did something that was good for yourself, and things like that. So, that's just like the basic stuff. And, for me, I like projects because, making a project out of something, if it's not for my physical health or my emotional health, mental health, it's usually just going to be for like my own educational development. And that tends to really motivate me a lot too, to learn things and see that, hey, last week I didn't have this skill, or last week I didn't know anything about this topic, and now I'm like delving into it, and it's really something that's capturing my attention. And for me, having projects kind of makes everything else fall into place, because I like that I'm feeling good, I like that I'm creating, I like that I'm learning, I like that I'm progressing, and that keeps me kind of like feeling pretty happy and leads me to kind of make better decisions overall. I can be like, oh, I do want to sleep on time because I do want to be up by 5:15 a.m. because I do want to record a podcast episode about, the progress I've been making on this one project, or I do want to record about this interesting thing that I've come across, or I do want to work on this class or work on this assignment, or I'm very driven by, projects, having goals, meeting goals, seeing results, and fast results. Like, I like to see the results fast. So with creativity, I do usually incorporate a lot of learning. So that's how come, I've gotten into things like side hustles that I've explained before, like about the iPhone, like battery repairs or screen repairs, or just like reselling them and stuff. I was able to figure out strategies of how to do that. Same with like violins. I was able to figure out strategies of how to buy and sell those. Same thing with, laptop, replacing motherboards on gaming laptops. I was able to kind of figure that out. And I always figure, okay, if I can sell one, I can sell multiple. And make it predictable. And like I've mentioned, usually I was making it predictable just for like my social party habits. And I was like, hey, my friends want to go on this trip to LA or something, and so I want to go from San Diego to LA and spend a 3-day weekend in a hotel with some friends and go to a couple clubs and sightsee a little bit in a different part of the city I'm not used to or something. I would use these projects as a means to kind of be able to keep a job that really paid hardly nothing at all. But, I liked the environment there, even though it was super stressful. I still liked working with the friends I had made and everything. And then, being able to also just, just enjoy myself, enjoy my, the amount that I was able to kind of, progress from there. And, COVID times kind of made me have to be a little more creative, a little more patient, start learning how to take a lot better care of myself and making decisions that I needed to make for myself Whereas before, I was able to have like, nut roommates and, people that I didn't really need to be around, or a job that was way too demanding and way too stressful. I was able to maintain that because I had so much other stuff going on. 2020 really made me kind of have to start reevaluating a lot of stuff and learning how to kind of strategize, how to kind of do things a little bit differently so that I could kind of sustain my life and, in a good way, and, not really have my health suffering emotionally or physically or mentally or spiritually in all those ways. I did have periods of time, and you guys have heard me on here when I was talking about like I feel like crap, or and it was usually those times that I was not doing one of those multiple things I had mentioned. The second I start taking out one of those things, it's one thing to take out one, it's one thing to maybe not exercise, but if I'm eating healthier and just at least doing like yoga, or at least, it's something like that, like there are some kind of like, still I'm getting like advantages every day. But there are other times where it's like I'm not doing anything, if I'm not doing anything at all, if I'm not doing anything spiritual related, if I'm not doing anything, if I'm not sleeping good, if I'm not eating good, if I'm not, and I don't mean just like eating a lot of food. I mean like eating the right amount of calories, the right amount of portions, and nutritious food. That combination, knowing what to eat and when, that is different for me. And then, just overall being able to realize how I kind of feel and recognize what I need for myself, and keeping myself in like a decent headspace and with a decent routine and schedule. Like this morning, I'm recording this on a Saturday morning. I slept until 7:30 a.m. I was probably still asleep by like 10:30 p.m. And I woke up around 2 a.m. just randomly, and I was like, I texted some friends and stuff because I had missed their messages and I knew they were up anyways. And then, I went back to sleep and slept till like 7 something, and then woke up around 7:30 a.m. And so to me, that's sleeping in, right? Because like you guys know, I've been waking up at like 5:15 a.m., usually sleeping by about 10:30 p.m. or so. So I did sleep in, but still I was up early, and I enjoyed that, and things like that. And, lately I'm planning on getting through a course. I'll tell you guys more about it, but transitioning back into some projects that are more tech related. I just finished the second step of my credit building journey. So now that I know how to do that, I'm still just going to keep that as a consistent part of my routine. And it's not really like a project that I'm necessarily working on anymore. Like I'm just going to work on it just as part of my financial routine. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. But you guys have been with me for like quite the journey through 2020, 2021. Now we're towards the tail end of 2022, getting there. And you guys have seen like almost like a 3-year journey of like how I've gone from when 2019, when things were going well and I was basically not making hardly any money at all, but the economy was like stable enough, and there's nothing really to worry about. And I was just screwing around, in all honesty. I was just partying and working and didn't really have any like major goals. Like I knew I wasn't going to go on like that forever because I couldn't sustain that pay rate, and I was like, well, I don't want to have roommates forever. Like that's not going to fly. And so I think I could try to get close to an 800 credit score. It might take a couple years, but I think I have heard too that at a certain score in the 700s, this is what I heard, I'm not sure about it, but I've heard that at a certain score in the 700s, it's kind of hard to like, keep going higher. Like, I think people, when they get around 720, 750, they start saying that, it's hard to like get to 800. But yeah, I mean, just doing stuff and seeing results for me is really encouraging. And like I've mentioned, I don't really like to share about my journeys on things until I've actually seen some progress, and then I can record about the progress that I have noticed. And some things have been a flop, like that project I started with STEPN. It was like the worst timing because it was right before all the crypto started crashing. So, if I would have jumped on that like the first 3 weeks and not been like, like the first 3 weeks when I started, I probably would have cashed out pretty good on that project. But because I didn't really do a lot of the walking often, because I'm more of a home workout person, I'll be honest. Like, sometimes I'm like, it's just so convenient because I'm already home. It's like I work from home, I'm already home. Sometimes just that step to kind of look a little more proper and get dressed and go out of the house and drive, that's another like 20 minutes out of the way, at the least 20 minutes out of my way just to get somewhere and start working out when I could have already worked out for 20 minutes, so sometimes I'd rather just work out at home. But so STEPN for me, that was the one thing, because it's like I have to go out of my way to walk. Now, is it hard to walk? No. The area I live in has sidewalks. You can literally just walk out the door and start taking a walk. It's not that hard. Like, really, let's be real. It's not that hard. I'm able-bodied and capable enough, but literally, just the timing with it, I wasn't really motivated towards walking. It's like the places I like to walk the most, like certain parks and the beach, I have to like get to those places. Like, they're not like right outside my door. And usually I'm not motivated enough to just drive to go walk. It's like, if I'm going to drive, if it's not to the beach or something, even though I could technically walk to the beach, kind of, but it's a bit of a distance. I can get there in under an hour, but it's like, if I'm just going to walk to the beach, I might as well just walk to the beach and not drive to the beach to walk at the beach. But I really love the beach. So that's one place that, I can be motivated to get up and go. It's the kind of place you don't really have to like do too much showering. Because you're just in the water anyways. It's kind of like, well, you're already dirty. Like, you're already going to get dirty and still have to come home and take another shower. So you might as well just chill, get there, chill in the water, swim around, walk around in the sand. It's a good workout even when you're not really doing much. The resistance of the waves and just like the resistance walking in the sand, you can really get a good workout going compared to just walking on the sidewalk out in front of the house, and down the street and stuff. Like, we have nice hilly areas over here too, but I mean, I just wasn't with STEPN. I just wasn't into it. It wasn't worth the money for me. Like, some people were saying they were making like $50 a day, and I'm not a runner. And so it seems like the runners were making $50 a day, and that sounded pretty cool. But I'm like, it wasn't really worth it to me even to make like the $8 to $10 a day. I mean, that's still not nothing, but that's before it crashed, and now it's like way less. And so I feel like that's the kind of game that if you're gonna, do it, you're not gonna likely do it for income. If you're gonna do it, you're basically just gonna go and do it for fun. And that's that. Like, if you're already walking, if it's already part of your day and you gotta take walks and stuff, you might as well just use the app. But if you're not already gonna take walks, then it's kind of like a little bit too little money to go out of your way to go do it, and so, I mean, just for me, everybody's motivated by different things. The thing that I did like about it, which is something that others have mentioned too, is that it does get you maybe at least to that phase where you did the warm up and now you're going to work out. Like, it just gets you out the door into like a first part of something that just kind of gets you a little more movement. And, making a couple bucks, was fine for that. It's like, it's a little bit enough motivation to do it, just to get your workout going. But other than that, I wasn't really motivated to work out at that time anyways. And then I ended up getting COVID right after that. So, like, not because of the game at all, but I just ended up getting COVID after that time period. Then crypto was crashing, and like now it's just like a forgotten project. The stuff with the laptops, with the iPhones, I don't really do that anymore because it's a little much with the driving. Same thing with the violins. Like, I don't really do the driving, and then like the shipping and having to repair stuff. Like, it's just a little, like, some of the stuff that I knew how to repair, it's a little obsolete now. The certain gaming laptops I was repairing and the certain iPhones I was repairing, like, nobody wants an iPhone 6 anymore. Like, they're really not really something you're trying to get because you can't really upgrade stuff as far as like the software, the operating system, the apps. Like, you can't really upgrade, so it's kind of obsolete. And then like, iPhones change so much, so I don't really know what I think or feel about like all this kind of stuff, but yeah, I'm definitely in a different headspace lately, and that is one of the biggest motivating factors, is just that I have a good morning, almost 3-hour buffer, and then an evening time period where I'm pretty open to being able to do certain stuff. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that I'm still working remotely, but that might change soon. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm just, trying to get into new projects now. But I kind of wanted to record about, like, just kind of how that looks for me, because I don't know if I ever really just explained, that's kind of the stuff that keeps me motivated. Like, I know my friends think I'm weird and stuff because, like, I don't really live my life like a lot of people do. Like, to me, it's not motivating to wake up, like, right when I need to wake up and then just, like, rush around and start rushing through my morning and trying to get out the door on time or whatever. And then working at a job where it's like I'm just here to work for the paycheck and then come home and watch TV. Like, for me, that's not really always motivating at all. Like, it can be, but not really that much at all. I do prefer, to be up before work, working on my stuff, have some stuff that I do maybe outdoors a few days a week at least. And I mean, every day is better, but a few days a week is fine for me. And just getting out and, doing stuff for fun, for hobbies, and just like exercise and sunshine and fresh air. Like, to me, that's pretty fun. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. And just look out for some new projects. I'll be posting little by little of progress that I'm making on new projects and seeing kind of what happens. Right now I'm focusing on income. I'm focusing on pay rate, income, it's mostly it. Pay rate, income, salary, whatever you want to call it. I've never really focused on that before, in all honesty. I've focused on keeping the jobs that I have, and I've focused on my side hustles. And so now that I'm kind of out of that side hustle lifestyle a little bit, I'm trying to see if I can do, an income, like scaling up in income from a 40-hour work week. And I'll talk more about it as I'm doing it. I'm being very vague right now, I know, but there's some courses I have to take to see kind of like what is going to actually happen. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to record too much more until I actually finish the coursework. So this, project might phase me out of my current work field. It might phase me out of what I know, but, by the time I'm fully trained and educated in this other area, I'm going to hopefully be able to see the results that I'm looking for, which would be an immediate pay bump just from an initial starting salary, more than what I'm already making within an amount of weeks. I'm going to give myself a couple months just for a buffer, just because there might be some barriers that come up, but I'm hoping, since it's already September, I'm hoping that by 2023, I will have pretty much, a solid different career path, but I don't know how this is gonna go. I mean, we're about to see. I just finished that credit building project overall, and now this is my next project, is getting into a new field. And so please be patient. There might be some pauses in the video posts, the podcast posts. I do debate about doing video, but for me, podcasting is just easier. Like, I can just hit record. I don't have to worry about how I'm dressed or how I'm looking or like being on camera. And like, I have some stuff that I've put on camera, but not lately. I haven't done that lately. So, and I'm fine, not doing it. Like, for me, I'm just trying to, put out as much content as I can when I have projects going on. And I did have some barriers there, I had some kind of mental health, physical health kind of barriers going on that were getting in the way, in like right before summer and right at the beginning of like May, June. It kind of took me a while to start settling into like a new area, a new situation. It took me kind of a bit of time. So, yeah, I do want to be able to just stay engaged and, keep at this podcasting project, and my other ones too, but for the most part, I'm trying to see about this income shift of a project, a salary building project, if you will. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but I'll be recording as I'm doing the project, but I'm not going to post until I know the results. And so until I start seeing any form of results, I'm not going to post anything about it. Well, I might post a little bit about it, but I'm not going to post until I see better results. And this is kind of my intro to that. So I'm excited. September's a fun month for me. I'm about to head down to San Diego this weekend, and got some plans with some friends. I'm gonna enjoy my week, most of the week. It's almost a whole week there, and let's see what happens. I might be done with this, people say, in as little as 3 weeks. I might be done in about 2 months. I'm thinking that at the latest, the results I'll see will be in 2023, but I might have results by October. I don't really know. So, we'll see. I got to keep up the momentum. I've got to keep everything else stable too, because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to do this while working full time. I'm basically going to be doing coursework while working full time. And I think I've got the energy to do it because I'm up so early. I've been consistently waking up early and motivated and energetic. And so I can cram more into my mornings. I could cram at least an extra hour into my mornings and at least an extra hour into my evenings. That's at the least. So, all right. So with that, thanks for listening.